Hi guys, Luton here, and I've got another video for you today, and it's from Karkand Conquest Assault. Now, I've got a couple of reasons why I wanted to post this video up. The first is really that it's a test for a new capture device I'm trying, and that's called the Elgato Game Capture HD. Now, some people might be aware of that. It's been around for a little while, not that long. It's been, I don't know, 6 months maybe. And basically, it's a lot smaller than the Karkand HD PVR. I will do a proper video about this capture device, but I've literally just got it and I wanted to test it out. This is unedited footage in terms of quality. I haven't messed with the settings or the color or anything like that. Something interesting is that it comes with its own little piece of software you download, and it's quite nice. It's quite simple. It's definitely, if you want to just put up game stuff or export it to do audio with, it's quite acceptable. But for me personally, I use another piece of software called Elgato ITV, and that is much better for dealing with exporting. You can export in multiple different formats. You can edit it much better, and that piece of software is going to set you back about £60, probably more like $90 maybe. I don't know, I'll work it out. But it costs a bit more, but it's definitely worth it because it gives you a lot more. But I'll put that into my video. The other thing, I'm still getting used to my mouse. I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through the game. But yeah, that's another reason, just progression with that. Now, you might remember on the last game that we got flanked heavily. Now look, the rest of my team have pushed pretty much up the road. There's a couple of guys behind me, and then you find these two guys here legging it around the side of our map, trying to flank us and get to C. So the first thing I was doing was going straight to my squad so that I could set to team, and then I was telling everyone that they're flanking behind, and then I'm making a bit of forward progress. Now, there's an interesting change. The hit that I get here compared to a hit I get in a minute shows a bit of control with the mouse and stuff. Now, I'm fairly on target there, but unfortunately the hit markers that I got on John there meant that when he jumped off, it actually killed him. But we still wanted to check around this area because if there's two guys running around, you don't know how many more, you don't know if they've got a recon point down, so we had guys pulling back here to check this area. And funnily enough, yeah, look right behind us now, it turns out that there's his mate who was with him, and it's very important we clear that out to prevent us from being flanked. The rest of our team are doing a pretty good job right now of sort of holding the line. Now, talking about the mouse controls, I think some people got the wrong idea about it, and they think that it allows you to have some super amazing game, and it's not that advantageous in many ways. It's not bad, but it has its pros and cons. Now you see here this nice there's some quite steady control there when I get that kill compared to the other one. But if you think about the different situations, what you had there was a target straight ahead, okay? But even so, he had the advantage. His head was very small. I only had a target of head and shoulders there, not easy to quickly get onto and take down. He could have very easily taken me out. Where John was running across the hill a moment ago and I had to get on him, you're trying to take a tracking target, okay? So you're trying to fire at something that's not just, he's not just running, he's running horizontal and he's running up at the same time. And also I'm using the QBZ, which isn't a fantastic gun at kind of medium to long range. It doesn't have a huge amount of power. Medium range, it's sort of acceptable. I quite like it because I like the feel of it. Not so good there. I mean, this is another thing that I was talking. I had a big breakdown with Level Cap. I had a big chat with him about this before we were recording some stuff, and he sat through a couple of my videos with me, and we talked about different situations in those videos. And he was talking about how the mouse and so on, and he was saying that he wouldn't expect someone like myself who literally just picked this up. Now, obviously, I have used mice before, but I haven't really been playing with one for a good 6-7 years, so it's a long time for me to kind of suddenly come back into it. So I've been getting better. I've been kind of feeling the difference, and I've kind of been moving forward, I feel, with it. But he said, a timescale expectation for using that would probably be about a month. He said you shouldn't expect to see any major advancements for about a month. And I feel like that's happening. It's been a few weeks. I feel like I've made a small step up. I've been practicing. One thing that I do think I need to do a lot better with is getting on targets. So, learning to ADS quicker and get quick on those targets. I'm sort of doing it sometimes, but not all the time, and it's something that you just learn as you go along, basically. So yeah, I've been feeling the mouse out and getting better with it. And something else that's kind of interesting, I have been trying to use vehicles. We had a game of Oman, and on Oman I was using the Venom. We were flying around, we were dropping off targets, and it was pulling together. So it's not unusable with vehicles, it just requires a little bit of practice. You're not going to be as good as you are with a controller though, that's the thing, but it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off of, you know, if you use, I mean, think of it this way, okay, controller, not so accurate, you know, with the gunplay, but you know, it's quite powerful for the vehicles because of the way it's set up on consoles. It's pretty much vice versa with the mouse. I mean, basically what you're getting is with the mouse you're getting a lot better gunplay, but it's not so usable with vehicles. You can still use them, absolutely, but it's just not as good. So it's a pretty much a roll of the dice there. So you know, it depends what you want to go with. I mean, it depends what kind of evening you want to set up for as well. If you were going to join on my server for the night, a lot of my server is, you know, gunplay and objective based gameplay where you're going to have to get in the mix and deal with stuff. Okay, now look here, look at the ADS here, a little bit slow, but at least I was kind of getting on target, but I wasn't leading well enough. And that was something else that Level said to me. I commented this after I failed a kill on another video of mine, and it was a tracking kill like that, and he said to me, he said, you know, he was like, that's a tracking kill. He was like, you've only been playing with this for about a week or two. He was like, I wouldn't expect you to be able to kind of quickly track a target like that if you've only been playing for that amount of time. And also, you see what happened just right here. This is another good example. What happened, that guy came around the corner and I kind of panicked. I pulled out my knife. It was the wrong thing to do. I was, you know, I wasn't sure. It's the same thing. When you're getting used to a new system, your brain is still kind of adjusting to things. And so when I was in that, you know, he came around the corner, I had to react in like a split second. I just clicked the wrong thing, and it's that thing of not quite getting used to something. So overall though, I still am very much enjoying it and I'm getting used to it, but it's funny, I've had several games where I've done quite well and came second, first on the board in score and KD, but I still feel like I could be doing a lot better. I keep thinking there's situations and moments where I'm like, oh, I could have got that, I should have taken that down. Anyway, let's get back to the game. So basically, yeah, you can see how we've been kind of defending, moving backwards and forwards. Look at, by the way, this LAV. Look at the power. I should have backed up here because this thing is taking me down so fast. But you see the LAV, you see the power it's got there. I mean, LAVs are very strong anyway with that kind of the auto cannon and also, you know, that more powerful rocket. They can really thrash a vehicle down in seconds. So I think that's going to be an interesting one with Armoured Kill. The trade-off against heavy tanks versus fast-moving, light armoured but powerful vehicles. It's going to be a really interesting one. Now see the amount of people we're having to dedicate to clearing this base out now because it's been pushed around, and you can see we're capping it back. We've got A and they've got B, so right now we're kind of having a bit of a fight to take control of the game. And you see as well, the guys are 100 tickets down, but that doesn't mean they lose. With Conquest Assault, it's important to remember that as an attacking team, you're very unlikely to win on points. It's not very often you have a Conquest Assault team win on the points because you have that kind of, you know, you're at a disadvantage almost to begin with. So it really is important as an attacking team to try and take all the bases, because that really is what's going to get you the win on a Conquest Assault map. Now also I want to point out some of my guys, it was great to play with some subscribers and Expert Flux, Pilias and Benji, these guys had some great games here. And Expert Flux, you know, he had some really fantastic games before this one where he was picking up some good kills, good KD, finishing the round high. But when you see the scoreboard here, you'll notice that, you know, he finishes, I don't know if it's negative or, oh right here, okay. So look, second on the board, but with a negative KD, or just balanced out there. So, you know, he's not racking up the kills, but he is doing what his team needs to. He's getting on the objectives, he's supporting people. And the thing is, I know that this guy is a good player because he was on the opposite team a few games ago, and, you know, he was playing really, really excellently. And that's the thing, it's not all about kills, it's about supporting your team and doing what needs to be done. And in this game, that's exactly what he's doing. So, you know, it's all about leeway. If you know you've got the advantage and the leeway, then yeah, you can push for the kills. But if you're in a tight game, where it needs you to play the objective, that's also what you should be doing. So we're coming up to the end here, guys, and you can see how this round has been quite different to the previous game which I showed, where I ended up removing my entire team on my side because they refused to pull back. This has been a complete opposite of that. You know, they did move up to begin with, because when you're playing Conquest Assault, that's generally what you're going to do, because you're trying to stop them from getting into the town. But when they start taking those bases, you've got to pull back, you've got to fight for the objectives, and that's what's happened here. So it was a really great round overall. Got a lot more to do, guys. I've got various videos coming up I haven't had time to process. They're on the way. I've got a load of ideas as well, so much more on the way for me very soon. Thanks for watching. Please leave your comments as always.